Hi, everyone. Welcome again for this panel. I'm very pleased to welcome people that I've seen a lot this week. It was the blockchain week in Thailand, and yes, we are finishing this week by the Ethereum Bangkok event. So nice to see you again, guys. And I think for the very few people who don't know you or haven't seen you this week, we will start this panel about basically the Ethereum ecosystem in Southeast Asia and mostly in Thailand. So I will ask you to introduce yourself before we start. So maybe we start with Kunat.
Hi, my name is Nat. I'm head of strategy at Alpha Venture DAO. So Alpha builds decentralized applications, particularly focused on DeFi, and we want to revolutionize how people transact value on chain. Our first product was Alpha Homora, launched in 2020. And within 4 months of launch, we had about $2 billion in value locked up. And currently, we're trying to expand our DeFi suite outside of Homora, but want to be a go-to platform for yield generation for anyone who wants to participate in DeFi and crypto.
Thank you, Kunat, and nice to have you on the panel. Kunat, if you want to start.
Hi. Yeah, so hi, my name is Anawut. You can call me O as well. That's my nickname. So I'm currently the head of venture builder at SCB10X. So SCB10X is a subsidiary of Siam Commercial Bank. So the oldest and one of the largest commercial bank in Thailand. And we are very much interested in the Web3 space since 2020. So we have been building and investing in the Web3 space. So we invested in the Fireblocks, the Sandbox, 8board, and so on. So I'm part of the venture builder team where we build new ventures out.
Thanks, Kuno, and nice to have you here. And yes, Mr. Sanjay, you are.
Yeah, hi, Max. Hi, I'm Sanjay. I'm the co-founder of Cryptomind Group and the CEO of Cryptomind Advisory. So mainly for the advisory side, we focus on offering Web3 services like research and end-to-end service like consulting for company looking to enter the Web3 world, and also doing like marketing and event as well. Yeah.
Thanks guys, and thanks everyone for joining this panel. Again, thanks for the people who are joining on Facebook Live as well, and thanks for your comments. I mean, you guys know each other very well. You have been some of the pillars of the Thailand blockchain ecosystem, and that's why I wanted to have you on this panel. Starting with what happened this week, for people who might not know, it was what we call the blockchain week in Thailand, with major events happening. The biggest one from Kun Sanjay, which was Thailand Blockchain Genesis. I just would like to have your opinion on the week in particular. How did you feel the crowds? What was surprising for you or not? And yeah, just to have your feeling of what happened. If we can start, whoever wants to start. Sanjay, maybe you are the organizer, so you can go.
Yeah. So like for the blockchain week that happened, like I think we have seen like an overwhelming response from a lot of company locally here as well, and regionally as well. So the turnout was 5,000 people across various like sector, right, from university student to like builder to people who want to understand more about the space, or even people in the corporate world. And apart from that, like there are, I think like more than like nearly 15 side event, which I think like I didn't expect that at all. So it's interesting to see like so many builder or community trying to like coming up and engage with the local niche of the community as well. I mean, like whether you are like interested in NFT dev, trading, or even like networking, right? So I think there's like vast array of event for you. So I think the interesting thing is that I've seen that even from our local regional partner, right, they were quite surprised as well and about the booming ecosystem of the blockchain space in Thailand as well. Like I mean, like I think for some of them it's the first time coming here, and they didn't know that there were a lot of things happening in Thailand, especially. So I think when they came to the event and met, like see all this side event, attended some of them, they were quite surprised themselves as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was a very amazing turnout, and especially in view of the markets. Did you feel the same on the event that you organized, Nat and O?
Yeah, we did. I was very surprised that a lot of people actually showed up, and mostly international people as well. Everyone who are builders in Asia flew into Bangkok to actually participate in this event, right? And so it was a very good time post COVID, where everyone gets to see each other again, and it's great to see that Bangkok ecosystem is still thriving after all these years. We're getting a groove back, and hopefully more and more builders will want to come and build in Bangkok going forward.
Yeah, and it's going to Kunho because basically you launch a space for that, right?
Yes, exactly. So just to talk about like blockchain Genesis week a bit, I think like the timing was like, you know, the FTX just happened like a week or two ago, right? So I was like, oh man, poor Sanjay and all that. But yeah, like you've seen in the event, right? So the turnout was great. People were like walking you know, on the booth all the time. You know, the conference hall is always full, so that's great. And I always regard blockchain Genesis, Thailand Genesis event as like the kind of like the primary go-to event, like blockchain. It's the biggest so far in Thailand, I think. So it's really interesting to see on that front, like lots of builders, a lot of you know, like investors, users are still around despite all the market sentiment here. So it's really good forward-looking to see at the event.
All right, and I think it's a question about the blockchain week, but mostly for you, Nat and O, because you are venture builders, right? Did you see a lot of basically young people or others basically coming to you and say, well, I'm planning to launch this DeFi or NFT or whatever projects? Did you see this kind of people talking to you, or it was mostly traders who are going to ask you what's going on in the market?
For me, mostly are existing builders in the space, and some investors. There are a few universities who are building projects. I think under SCB10X program, you guys have some sort of program to help university students, right? So I think, you know, with the SCB10X effort and events that we're hosting as builders, we're trying to build more developers in the ecosystem. So hopefully there'll be more in the future.
Same for you, or?
Yeah, likewise. So I've seen with like blockchain Genesis and also like opening of our like new District X space, collaboration space, right? We are seeing both like the like existing builders still in the space. I don't think I have seen anyone that has left so far, which is like really promising. But we're also seeing new faces. I think like a lot of people see it as the best time to build. I think you know, what's the best investment than building during the bear market and you know, like ride with the early wave of the next wave.
All right, thanks. And well, you know, today it's an Ethereum event, so I'm going to ask you a question related to this famous layer one, right? Living in Thailand and knowing a bit the community during those past few years, we saw a lot of basically builders looking at other chains like Solana, Terra, unfortunately, and others. But what do you think about the Ethereum space for the Thai community building? Is it still the number one, or people are still looking at new chains to basically develop on? Sanjay, maybe if you can start, because you see a lot of builder as well.
Yeah, so for me personally, what I came across with, like at first we seeing a lot of builder on Ethereum, right? And then I think like later on, like local builder, a lot of them also like explore various chains such as BSC or even like Luna as well, right? Amidst of what those happen, right? And I think for the Thai user, especially like the retail one, most of them like during the what they call like when the ETH was booming, right? The gas price was so high. So I think a lot of local like retail user tend to be more active on the BSC chain or like Terra chain more than the ETH chain, because it's more affordable for them that way. I still think that most innovation we see in the space is from the ETH chain, even locally as well. And then like those like more like local chain also popping up and offer some unique localized solution for some company as well on that end. Yeah.
All right, thanks. And Nat, I mean, Alpha Homura was built, is built on Ethereum. Are you seeing the same?
So I think for Homura right now, we've expanded outside of Ethereum to be a multi-chain DeFi ecosystem for leverage yield farming, right? So I think in the future, applications will still try to be where the users are. And I think for builders, there are three factors that they think about. One is like functionality, usability of the protocol. Second is adoption or transaction, right? Where the user is. And lastly, it's development cost and time. That includes like developer tools, how prevalent they are, what's the ecosystem support, what's the grant system look like, right, to support the developers for starting up. So I think these three factors, Ethereum has all of them and has done really well on all three. And in the bear market, especially where liquidity has gone down tremendously as a result of the market crashes and become thinner and fragmented, a lot of adoption and liquidity will move back to Ethereum. So I think for DeFi particularly, Ethereum will still be a majority or key ecosystem for new builders. But going forward, right, for other kinds of applications, and if we look at long-term trend, I think, builders will always weigh these three factors, and, Ethereum might not be the best for all types of transactions. So I think in the near term, for DeFi, Ethereum is still a great ecosystem to build on. But in the long term, depends on how they continue to support builders on all three fronts.
All right, and if I recap, it's mostly related to the gas price, right? If people are looking at other chances, maybe to have a cheaper alternatives, and maybe you used to work for the first layer 2 in some ways, and now you are a venture builder, basically bringing new project into blockchain. So are you seeing Ethereum dominant, or people are?
Yeah. So I'm still building on Ethereum. You can see my Hack Money code here, the shirt here. So still going to hackathons and all that. So for me, I still see Ethereum as the settlement layer for crypto. So there are probably only two chains that can do that right now, right? So there's Bitcoin and there's Ethereum, and obviously that Ethereum has the smart contract capability with the settlement, kind of like granted now. So even though like there are activities on other chains, I still think that in the end, like when people want to rest their funds, their cryptos, then Ethereum is still the preferred choice for the long term. But having said that, I think innovation doesn't I agree with Sanjay that most of the innovations are still happening on Ethereum, but I think there are also some other like really interesting innovations, interesting tech that are happening through other chains as well. For example, if I may mention on ETHBKK, Sui, for example, are experimenting with like parallelization of transactions. We see a lot on Cosmos. They're doing the app chains approach and with the really kind of like strong interchange messaging there. So while I think Ethereum is still the settlement layer where most of the values are probably going to be on Ethereum for a while, for a long while. I still see like a lot of the product innovations, a lot of the tech innovations are going to be happening also in other ways where they are not limited to the law of physics of Ethereum, right? And so that's why it's important to keep our eyes open and also like be open to other chains as well, which I think that's also the vision that Ethereum Foundation and the core team wants to go through.
And just to rebound on what you said, I mean, we have seen the Terra Luna crash, right? Do you think that it basically scared builder on building on something new?
So I think builders are probably not affected. I think that's more on, to be really frank, on the users and trader side, right? Me included. I think a lot of people are affected by those few crashes, both the DeFi part and CeFi part. But we also have seen like some stats, right? I think there's a stats by SEC that me and my team just presented. Actually, after Terra crash, we are still seeing a lot of adoption, trading volume happening in Thai exchanges. Comparatively, say, back 3-4 months before the crash, we are still seeing that kind of volume. And more interestingly, I think we are also seeing like institution trading still happening. So pretty much about the same volume of like 15 billion Thai baht per month before, like 3-4 months before the crash. After the crash, we are still seeing about like 12-14 billion baht of trading volume from institutions as well. So I think Terra is like we are affected by Terra, but the ecosystem is still strong.
Yeah. and rebounding on what you're saying, and basically Thailand, for people who really don't know, used to be one of the most active DeFi user, right? And my question to you, Nat, is that being in the DeFi space, obviously there is some downside in what happened with on the trading side, on the total value locked, which is diminishing. But what are you expecting for DeFi in 2023?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think to echo on DeFi developments, right? Like over the past 2 years, there's been a lot more DeFi projects in Thailand. Right now, there are over nine projects, right? In 2020, it was just alpha at the start. So today we've seen a lot of development, and this year we've seen the highest participation from institutional investors versus retail over the past, like 5 to 10 years. So a lot more demand is coming in from institutions, but I think looking forward, right, for DeFi, this yield chasing behavior, yield farming behavior is going to go away or become more sustainable. We won't see like 100 to 200% yields anymore, because most of them are based on hype or rug pull or governance tokens. So what we believe at Alpha is that the yields are just going to come down to a reasonable level, and the yields from like providing liquidity, lending, participating in like different DeFi ecosystems will always be there, albeit at a more reasonable level. So if we want to build DeFi for the future, it's all about getting the infrastructure ready for the next wave of adoption, and that means coming from the safety and security of building DeFi against hack, and also building an infrastructure that can take in more trillions of dollars. Because at the peak of DeFi, we see over the past 2 years, at the peak, it was 200 billion in TVL, right? That's nothing compared to financial market, which processes like trillions of dollars in a day. So there's a long way to go, but I think there's more demand coming from institutions. It's just we have to get the infrastructure right for them to get in.
Okay, and you give me the transition perfectly to Sanjay, because I mean, you've been talking to institutions through your group for crypto adoptions for quite some time. So are you seeing institutions scared of getting in the space as of right now, or are you still believing in mass adoptions for institutions next year? I think you're on mute.
I'm on mute, yeah. So I think for what I'm seeing like right now with the local investor side on the institution, obviously with what happened to the downturn in the market, right, kind of deteriorate them a bit, right? Like imagine you're like a large corporate, you have to ask your board to put in some of treasury into crypto right now. So no one dares to like talk about it or touch it at the moment in time, right? So I think there's been like a slowdown on that end for the newer one trying to enter. But I think for the institution that already understand what this space is about, we're still seeing them keep going, right, and start investing and exploring more on what else are there to invest in the space as well. So even on the like investment side, on the VC world in Thailand locally, right, we're seeing a lot of local venture capital like still being active in the space and on the lookout for a new project to invest in as well. So I think institution will take time, but I think it's slowly coming back with the trust that we need to rebuild a bit on the industry side as a whole. So as long as the industry keep going, I think like slowly they'll be coming back on this end as well.
All right, thanks. And talking about institution, there is one sharing the panel with us, Kuno SCB, for people who don't know, is a bank, and obviously you are a venture builder on a subsidiary of SCB. So you are well placed to know if institutions are doubling down on crypto or not. But I would like to ask you, you've been in the space for many years. You have seen the Thai ecosystem growing. And today, basically, you're inviting new projects to work under the SCB10X umbrella, right? What do you think is missing for Thai new project to replicate the success of Alpha, Bands, or Appboard?
Right. Yeah. So we've always been like looking for Thai teams to invest and build, right? But to be very frank, the proportion of that coming from Thailand and compared to outside the country is still pretty low. But we are still supporting, right? So we have like boot camps and incubation programs and so on to help support that. But I think it comes down to one factor, which is scale. Right. I think a lot of the teams, when they start new projects, they would say, let's start from Thailand, see how it goes, and then once we are strong there, we go abroad, right? I kind of disagree with that kind of mindset. From my experience or my perspective, most of the products that have already pinpoint saying that I would start from Thailand and focus on Thailand, and taking time to build here, it's already going to take a lot of effort and a lot of like the mindset shift in order to switch your head into like a global mindset and then expand abroad, right? So what we always see, what we always say is that for teams, you have to build with global from day one mindset, right? So global from day one, I think that's important. But then when you talk about global from day one, then there are other things that you have to prepare, not just like building your product for Thai users or Thailand, right? There's language wise that you have to improve. There's the ability to like address a global problem, like not a problem that's only specific to Thai demographics. And also that comes with like the network of like builders, investors, and users that you need to find. So I think one of the key missing piece that I would like to encourage the Thai ecosystem is how to be actually take global day one mindset from day one.
Okay, but thanks for sharing. And just for the last 5 minutes, I think it's being in the space, you have seen different bear markets, right? You are not new in this space. So what's your expectations, and are you still bullish for 2023, or you think that it's going to be a long bear market as we expect, Sanjay?
So I think I'm extremely still bullish in the long run. So I think in the short term, like we're gonna see more consolidation as well, like on a global scale, right? Like still we haven't seen the full effect of what happened with like FTX and whatnot, right? We're gonna see more bankruptcy happen. So I think there's gonna be more consolidation as a whole in the industry wise. But I think for the builder, right, I think it's the best time to build is probably in the bear market where all the noise are gone, right? And then you can focus on your value proposition, product market fit, pivot your product a bit and tailor it to more on your client or user need, right? So I think it's actually the perfect time. Like, I mean, in short term, it's going to be a bit quiet, I think, but like, I think people are still building, the investor, we are still investing. Like, I mean, a lot of people are still keep on going, right, on what they're trying to do and achieve. So I think it's going to prove as well, if you can write this out, I think you're going to be in the market for the long term as well, right? And also mark your stamp in the industry as one of the people who have some sustainable company or even a product as well on that end.
All right, thanks. And Nat, what's your wish list for crypto in 2023?
I think most of all, I wish that like people like the general retail or people out there will not think that crypto is like a bad thing, because in the industry where there's money to be made, it always attracts all kinds of people. And as innovations going through the hype cycle, there's a lot more hype, like little hype cycle that happens along the way, right? But the innovation is still there. And I would love for people to discern, what is innovation and like what's great and not real. And there's still projects out there like Cryptomind, 10X, Alpha, Venture DAO, Pan Protocol that still believe in the innovation in the long run, and we want to build something that's meaningful, and Atato as well, where we want people to. So I want people to discern the people from the tech, and I want more founders actually to come in and in the space and build with integrity. It's something that I want to see in the long run for crypto in general.
Thanks. And yeah, you're right to mention us. We have been here since the previous bear market as well. So we have been riding it some way. So I mean, you just launched District X, right? A collaborative space for crypto projects to come and work. So there is no question that you are bullish on the future, but yeah, just have to have your sentiment to finish.
Yeah, excited to build, excited to see more entrepreneurs and builders in the space. So happy to support that. And I think like Kunat from Alpha Venture DAO is also happy to incubate more projects from local teams as well. So really excited on that. A few keywords that I can make on expectations. I think I'm interested in more derivatives and financial instruments in this space. I think futures and options, IRS, fixed term lending, all of this is really exciting, and especially with the market crash with the centralized exchanges, I think there's going to be a lot more products, like financial products, coming and makes sense to do it on chain. I'm interested in layer 2 tech, of course, providing like cheaper transactions, more throughputs. So on that front, I'm interested in like on-chain gaming and looking to see more games using like the whole entire game logic on the chain, and also like more high performance DeFi strategies. And also interested in infrastructure in general, right? Data infrastructure, API infrastructure, the infrastructure that helps builders build. So yeah, those are the three kind of like general areas that I'm most excited about and looking forward to build.
All right, but thanks a lot, you guys, for sharing. I know you've been sharing your thoughts the whole week on the blockchain week, so you must be a bit tired of repeating the same thing. But I think it's very important for our community to know you guys and to have your insight of what's happening in Southeast Asia and in Thailand more specifically. Really appreciate you taking the time and talking about your points. We are going to talk about infrastructure and security on the next panel. So stay tuned. But Nat, Sanjay, Kuno, thanks again for joining. Really appreciate you taking the time, and I see you soon. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.